From moms to dads, lots of great father-son player stories. Ken Griffey Jr., his dad, but Jack, it's not just the players.
That's right, Mark. You know, there's nothing quite like going to a ball game with your dad, but as our Hutch Connerman tells us, a father-son duo in Kettering have gone way beyond a couple of cheap seats in the bleachers.
You have a DH in the 7, you have DH in the 5 spot. Okay, take us around, go ahead.
It's been real enjoyable to have that kind of a bond that we both can umpire together and then see each other once in a while.
In 32 years, Lee Barlow has witnessed major league talent and he's called state championship games, but he says his biggest honor is umpiring with his son.
Again, that's that bond that we have, that we can go out there and for that 2 hours or 2.5 hours that we're together, it's a great feeling to be able to be out there. And it's kind of funny, a lot of times when we're introducing ourselves before the game, you know, his name's Chad Barlow and I'm Lee Barlow, and I always say, yeah, I'm the old guy, you know. The coaches are looking, oh, father-son team, that's good.
I know I've done all kinds of things in baseball with my dad, and he was a huge influence on me. And obviously Lee's been a huge influence on Chad. It's really admirable. I hope that when I have a son someday, that, you know, he follows after my footsteps, whether if I get into umpiring, if I get into coaching, you know, it'd be nice to have him look up to me as Chad does to Lee.
I went to a lot of his games growing up, baseball and basketball, and I was always around watching the game and watching how he interact with the coaches and the players and stuff like that, and I always enjoyed it.
Chad Barlow learned at an early age officiating sports can be a thankless task.
Growing up and going to his games and stuff like that, it would always bother me. Especially, you know, I'd go to a lot of his basketball games and stuff and hear people yelling left and right, and I'm sitting there watching the game going, don't yell at my dad. And I don't really understand it. And when I got into officiating, it's all a part of the game.
A game that makes the Barlows feel right at home.
Yeah, I'm going to school and I got to do this and that, and he's working and we're so busy, but you know, there's a time and a place where we get to spend some time together, you know, out on the field and or out on the court, and yeah, it makes it fun.
Hutch Connerman, 2 Sports.
Now tomorrow, in part 2 of Hutch's story, we will tell you whether being a father-son umpire team makes calling a game easier or more difficult.
Well, you know, there's been something special for a long time about baseball and fathers and sons, but Jack, here's a duo that takes it to a whole new level.
Well, you're not kidding, Mark. You know, yesterday we introduced you to Lee and Chad Barlow, a father and son umpiring duo. Well, today our Hutch Connerman takes us even closer to the action and tells us how those family ties hold up inside the white lines.
I try to keep myself separate in what his calls are making, and I try to treat him as an umpire first when we're on the diamond, or as we're officiating as a referee, instead of me being a father-son.
Any aspect of whoever you're working with, you know, you go out there as a team. You know, you're not an individual, you go out there as an umpiring or an officiating team. So you back each other up.
With 38 years of experience between them, it's safe to say that when the Barlows take the field, they make an outstanding team.
Hey. There's, you know, quality umpires throughout the all Miami Valley, but when the Barlows, you see them walking the stretch here to get to the field, you automatically know you're going to get a quality game. You're going to get a quality game on the bases, you're going to get a quality game behind the plate, and most, you know, they're great with the kids. They're great with the officials. You know, if they blow a call, they'll be the first to come up to you and say, hey, Coach, I may have missed that one. When you see them coming up, you know 100% you're going to get the best of the best.
If he says, hey, Dad, do you think I made it right or wrong? I'll tell him straight up, you know, no, you kicked it, you know.
Well, outside, he was always, you know, my coach growing up. So I was always used to him being there and, you know, being like the coach figure and the father figure there at the game. So when I got the opportunity to work with him, it was more fun, it was more comforting.
They know that they're separate entities, and you know, when one of them's doing the plate, you know, I'm always in their ear, hey, get your boy in control out there, or hey, get your dad. I mean, is he seeing things right? You know, I'm always getting on him. I treat him just like I do any other officials, but I know that professionalism is always the first thing that comes to mind when you hear about the Barlows.
So has he ever overruled you? And if so, have you ever said, hey, I'm going to take your keys away?
No, he hasn't done that yet, but he's a pretty good umpire and pretty good kid. So if he ever does that, I'll have to sit him in his place because Dad's always right. You know how that is.
Hutch Connerman, 2 Sports.
Thanks a lot, Hutch. You know, later on this spring, the Barlows will have the honor of umpiring a state championship game together.